You are now tuned into the Team Lonely Child Boxing Podcast. Better watch out. Better watch out. Better watch out.
Yo, 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 welcome to Team Lonely Child Boxing, keeping it real boxing, everything boxing. Whoa, 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 we got a lot to unpack today, man. Pray everybody having a good day. Everybody's enjoying themselves and what have you, man. But let's dig in, let's dive in, man. Got a lot to break down, man. I'm sure number one trending topic right now was last night's exhibition between Floyd and Logan Paul. People have had so many reactions and so many people spewing their thoughts. Further, just talk about the fight. I mean, the fight was I actually didn't go expected. I didn't go as expected. I think many people wanted to be a lot more action, even though it's an exhibition. Even though it's an exhibition, people was expecting a lot of more action. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna tell you what I was a little bit more surprised about. I was a little bit more surprised like Logan just was there to survive. As big as he is, 180 pounds, he was just there to survive. Floyd was genuinely trying to, press to get the job done, but, the big boy wasn't trying to go. You know what I mean? He held on, he wrestled, he did what he had to do to make it to the bell, and that was all he wanted to do. He figured he was on the big stage and he wasn't going to let himself get knocked out in front of all these people and these eyes was on him. So, I mean, that kind of hampered everything. It kind of made a damper on everything for those who wanted blood and guts. So, I mean, put your comments in the comment section, man, so people can see those that's tapping in, man. Tell me what you think about the fight. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it's something that none of us want to see again, regardless of what the result was. But just tell me what you thought about it, man. Did you think it was a good fight? Did you think it was what you expected? And I was more intrigued by the undercard anyway. That was my thing. I was watching for the undercard. I was kind of concerned about the main event only because of the size of Logan Paul. That was it. The size of Logan Paul had me kind of perplexed because I thought, what if this boy do luck up and catch him with something solid? And the unexpected happened, and then what kind of noise we gonna hear after that. But he did catch Floyd with a couple good shots, and amazingly Floyd kept it rolling. But that's what that conditioning and that hardcore training that he did for him. But yeah, it definitely was a like I said, it wasn't much excitement. It wasn't enough to get nothing for everybody to get jumping up and down about definitely something we don't want to see again. But definitely, like I said, it's all right for exhibition, man. But let me know your thoughts, man. Let me know what you thought of the fight. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you think it was a good fight? Like I said, though. Now, for all those that's complaining out here, this is a clown show. This is ruining boxing. This is that very entertaining for a Sunday night great sparring match. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. Nothing more but a great sparring match. What's up, bro? How you doing today? But nothing but a great sparring match. Something slight, but it wasn't nothing. people are really worked up. I mean, that's what social media does today. But people are all worked up. Talking about how this is ruining boxing. This is a clown show. This is not, man. Listen, relax. I get it. I know the hate that Floyd brings to himself and the hate that he brings to everybody and everything that he does. But to be honest, this stuff has been going on since the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? Floyd doesn't have that one KO punch anymore. It's more accurate now, accumulative now. I ain't never known him to have a knockout punch since he was Pretty Boy. Ever since he was Pretty Boy, he's to let his hands go. When he was Pretty Boy, but Money May ain't knocking nobody out. Money May ain't knocking nobody out now. Money May gonna do what he gotta do to get in there. Even though he was pressing the issue last night, he really to me like I said, he was walking the big boy down. But big boy, that's a big boy. So it take a whole lot more to get them bigger boys out there, especially when you're a small guy. So I mean, like Jake Logan was not trying to get knocked out. Logan wrestled, Logan held, Logan did whatever he got to do to not get knocked out. So I mean, that played a part into it, man. I thought Logan was going to be a little bit more aggressive than that and try to do a little bit more. But then, like I said, that kind of put a damp on the fight and a damp on things. But that comes, that comes with the sport. That comes with it. That comes with it, man. But all in all, another typical, night with Mayweather. But as for those that was, complaining about the event, it's just that, I mean, listen, that did not damage the sport of boxing at all, because we did get some treats on the undercard. But like I said, it didn't dampen the sport of boxing. This type of stuff has been going on since the beginning of time. And, you got the people that say, well, boxing the only sport that do it. No, they're not. Like, we had pros versus Joes. We had, celebrities playing in celebrity matches and all kinds. This stuff has been going on, celebrity death match. This stuff has been going on since the beginning of time. It's just Floyd brings a different energy. Floyd brings a different light. Floyd brings a different, stigma to everything. So everything he does is so big and so over the top that people just, hate that he does. But at the same time, boxers of the day, you got to realize something, man. Take a page out what he's doing, because see, what people don't realize is, okay, you may not want to do the Floyd Mayweather way, but you got to find a way to get people looking at you. You got to find a way to get people interested. Like, these guys have been, like Logan Paul and Jake Paul have been doing things on YouTube for years. Like, Logan Paul was on WWE. He headlined a fight card on the Zone, with Devin Haney and Billy Joe Sanders on the undercard. His debut was against a guy named KSI on the Zone, and on that card, Devin Haney and Billy Joe Sanders. Oh, hold on, let me see what we got here. It was just entertainment. I wasn't willing to pay $50. It's not a hate issue at all. Floyd Mayweather looked fit for a 41-year-old. I've only seen clips. The underdog almost worth a few bucks. The sport of boxing has a long history with standing of any kind of event. This won't be an exception. I agree, James. Knockout people fail to listen. It was billed as an exhibition, not a big difference here. The undercard was good. Do anybody remember Ali exhibition matches? Yeah, man. I was just speaking on the same exact thing, man. Like I said, this stuff been going on since way, way back. You know what I'm saying? Since way, way back. Jack Johnson days. When Jack Johnson was fighting people at the state fair. I mean, this stuff been going on from the beginning of the time. Exhibitions have always been around. This is just that Floyd brings a different light and a different what's going on with Charlo. We're gonna get to that a little later. Stay with me, Coop. Well, I'm gonna get to Charlo a little later. I got that chime down. But in the comments, be more specific of what you're talking about. Are you talking about the issue with everybody's like kind of like mad at Charlo? Is that what you're speaking of? Just let me know so I know what because I'm definitely gonna talk on Charlo. You know what I mean? In the meantime, on the undercard, we did have one of DMV's own, Jaleel Hackett. He had his debut on the card. He had a knockout in which, that was great for, it's a lot of DMV fighters coming up, on a lot of these fight cards. We had Gary Antoine Russell on the undercard of Donaire, so they doing things. Hold on. It's kind of silly for Floyd to suggest his kids wouldn't eat unless he continued to make money doing this. I don't think that's what he meant. I think Okay, what he's saying is this: two things going on. Two things went on. Two things why Floyd Mayweather was still around and even did what he did. Obviously, he's been in the sport of boxing since he was a kid. He really doesn't know anything else to do other than boxing. Boxing is what he did. Boxing is what he loved. Boxing has been his life. But for a lot of celebrities and a lot of people who have success in any sport, it's hard to just walk away from people screaming your name. It's hard to walk away from people, everywhere you go, always being in lights. So I know that's part of one of the reasons why he's still out there. But at the same time, he's a very calculated businessman and not gonna put himself out there to be hurt like all the other fighters and all the champions that we've seen be hurt and knocked out in the sport of boxing. He's not trying to put himself in that predicament, but at the same time, he understands business. He make money. He knows how to make money. A lot of these young fighters out here right now, I'm pretty sure some of the ideas that him and Trilla and some of the people are spilled out there, a lot of these young fighters, they pitched it to him. But them guys like, I'm not doing that. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. I ain't going on YouTube and like you'd be surprised how many fighters that say they don't even want to like do lives. They don't like to do lives. They don't like to let people into their world. Hold on. I think this event may prove to be his own recognition that he doesn't need this anymore. That could be true. That could be true. That could be true. But one thing he's going to do, he's an extremist. So whatever he does, he's going to try to, make money. The reason why he's doing it, but I think this particular event, he was doing it just because he missed the lights. He missed the people yelling his name, and of course, why not? If I can make 100 million, why not? But for like I said, for these younger fighters out here, take a page out of the books of some of these fighters. Learn how to market yourself different. If you don't want, if you don't may not, you want to do the, if you don't want to do what Floyd do, fine. That's fine. But don't complain when other people cash in because you're not willing to step outside of your box. You know what I mean? Boxing is just one of those weird sports. It's just one of those weird sports where the best fighters don't always get the most what you call PR. They don't get the most recognition. They don't get the most fans in the seats. They may be the best fighters, but people don't queue up for them the way they queue up for these other guys. It's just how it is. So if you don't want to do, you don't have to do everything these other guys do. If you're not a trash talker, you don't have to be, but you're going to have to find something to market yourself. Like, for instance, like last week, Malik Scott compared Deontay Wilder to Muhammad Ali. Okay, all of us that know boxing know that's absolutely absurd. There's nothing about, no disrespect to Deontay Wilder, but there's no real comparison to him and Muhammad Ali, whether in the ring or out the ring. Then there's no comparison. What the things you're dealing with right now is nowhere near compared to what Ali went through. So that's ridiculous. But what it does do, it's making people click. Once he said that, you go on YouTube, you go on Twitter, you see Wilder trending. You know what I mean? Wilder went around everywhere yelling bomb squad, doing all the stuff and guess what? After Floyd Mayweather, the highest paid person on the roster is Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder is about to make when he fights Tyson Fury, him going around talking about that suit and Tyson Fury cheating and all the stuff in the gloves is going to make people tune into the third fight. It's going to be another pay-per event in a great big stadium out in Las Vegas, and he's going to make about a good, probably 30, 40, $50 million. So regardless if you hate Deontay Wilder or the antics that he does, he's going to cash in. Not saying you got to do what Deontay Wilder does. Not saying you got to do what Floyd does, but you better find something because that's how they making money. Either that, keep doing what you're doing. Either that, fighters keep doing what you're doing. But if you're going to complain, saying what this is such a bad for boxing because Canelo spoke out, Ricky Hatton spoke out, they all spoke out talking about these type of events are bad for boxing and this, that, and the third. And then also another thing that's funny while we're talking about Floyd, you got the guys out here that's saying, well, look at what Manny's doing. He's fighting Earl Spence and Floyd's fighting a YouTuber. Floyd is retired. Floyd beat Manny. You know what I'm saying? Floyd beat Manny. And then for those that say, oh, he waited till Manny got old. Okay, what I want y'all to do, anybody in the comment section too, make this make sense for me. How was Manny too old to fight a 38, 39-year-old Floyd Mayweather, but he was young enough to beat a 24-year-old Keith Thurman? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I'm willing to listen. Make that make sense. If Manny was too old to fight a 38-year-old Floyd, but young enough to beat a 24-year-old Thurman, And many of y'all, some of y'all out here saying that he's going to be the 30-year-old Earl Spence. Make your mind up. When he jumped in the fountain of youth after he fought Floyd, I'm going to get the Jarrett Hurd. I'm Jarrett Hurd. I'm definitely going to get the Jarrett Hurd. I'm going to get the Chalo. You know what? We here now. First, let me put this up there also. Wilder is really number one. Number two, that's true. All right. Last night on the undercard, one of the Floyd doesn't age. When was his prime over? You know what? Before I get to Jarrett Hurd, right? That's the thing, though. Because let's be clear about something. Even though it was an exhibition, at 44 years old, he still looked better in that ring last night than a lot of young fighters. He was showing y'all some stuff last night. See. If I was an up and coming fighter or a fighter that wanted to be a star sport of boxing, I would have had my notepad out last night. I'd have been in the lab in that joint, like, okay, he did this, he did that. Because listen, make no mistake about it. Logan Paul is a big boy. That was a 180 pound, 90 pound man throwing his punches at a man that's really a welterweight. See what I'm saying? And Floyd was able to, buy space, make him miss, do the thing. Even though it's an exhibition, it still was some things that you could have learned from the old man last night. And in terms of how he, marketed himself and promoted himself, it's a lot of things that these young fighters needed to learn, because the only thing Floyd did last night was cash in on a sport that a lot of y'all young fighters left void, because y'all sitting around doing more fighting on Twitter and YouTube than you are in the ring. And that's not his fault. Y'all left the door wide open for him to come in and make this big fuss and splash. The fight Floyd Mayweather coming back shouldn't have been no big deal. If y'all was fighting the fighters, if the fights that we wanted, needed to happen, was happening, last night would have been like, oh, so what? Floyd came back. We're not tripping over that. But it was a big deal because y'all left the door open. Now, back to Jarrett Hurd. That was a major setback. Last night. Did not see that coming. And, so at this point, I don't know, some people are pointing fingers at the trainer. Some people are saying that maybe he came back too soon. I don't know. At this point, I don't know, because to be honest with you, I love Jarrett Hurd. And for those of us from the area right there, don't be too hard on him, because he has been through a lot. Sometimes it looked like to me he was physically there, but mentally he wasn't. You know what I mean? It looked like he wasn't mentally there. And it could be the loss of his father, praying for him, and my condolences to him for that. But it could have been the loss of his father and other things that's going on that had him distracted. He just didn't look. It just looked like he was going through the motions last night. It looked like he was just there on instinct, and he wasn't really there, because like the guy that was in front of him wasn't a banger. He wasn't a puncher. He just outworked them. You know what I mean? Arias just outworked them. You know what I mean? That's as simple as that. I mean, and Hurd, just wasn't, the shots was there. He just wasn't letting his hands go. He even he was letting the dude push him around the ring. You know what I mean? He literally was pushing him around the ring. And in the last round, he got hurt. He was hurt. He had to hold on, regain himself, and then, get himself back together. Because, like I said, man, he like I said, all in all, I don't know what you do at this point. Because I mean, you don't want to take too long of a layoff in the sport of boxing, because when you take layoffs, you get rusty. You don't really stay on your stay as sharp. So I don't know if he needs to take an extended time off. Clearly, you got to clean house with your training, because I saw the same Jarrett Hurd that I saw against J-Rob. Distraction or no distraction, I saw the same Jarrett Hurd. But it did seem like, even though I saw the same Jarrett Hurd, I clearly saw that he wasn't there. He checked out a couple times last night. Like, he wasn't there. You know what I mean? It's like, he was like when the corner was talking to him, he was just looking like he wasn't there. You know what I mean? I got love for Jarrett Hurd. I do not want to see him hurt out there. I don't want to see him good. So I think, maybe take some time off, come back, get a tune-up fight, and see where we go from there. But all in all, it definitely was not what we expected, and that was a huge setback. A huge setback because, a victory last night would put him in line with, some other fights that he said he wanted at 154, namely Jamel Charlo. And, of course, we all saw Charlo took to Twitter and social media to clown him because, and for those that didn't know, the reason why he did that, because earlier in the week or right before the fight was set, it's time for him to fight this weekend, Jarrett Hurd called out Charlo and said a bunch of stuff about Charlo. So that's Charlo's way of reacting to him and letting him know you talking all that, worrying about me when you should have been worried about your opponent. So that's why Charlo did what he did. Now, for those that didn't know or what happened was, Jamel Charlo been hot this week. He trained Chad Ocho Cinco for Chad's fight last night. And listen, football players, basketball players, soccer players, MMA people, not necessarily MMA, but some of y'all, listen, you can play a lot of things. You can't play boxing. Chad looked halfway decent last night, almost got out of there unscathed. But in that fourth round, he found out, hey, man, it gets real. Brian Maxwell, like I said to everybody, look, even though he's not a boxer per se, he's a professional fighter. He's a professional bare knuckle fighter. He's a professional MMA fighter. So he's a pro. He's been in real fights. Chad, you're a football player. You sparred during the offseason, but you've never been in a real fight. He has. And last night in the later rounds, when he finally got his timing down, he put Chad face first. Chad did a Zab Judah impersonation. Got up, give me 6 waffles, a bag of Skittles. Yeah, he got rocked. He was hurt. I hope that's enough to let him know. Take your $1 million, take your minute, your 1 minute of fame of being in a boxing ring and a whole bunch of business. You can't play boxing, man. But what did y'all think about Chad? Talk to me in the comment section. What y'all think about Chad last night? Chad got rocked, Chad got dropped, but he was able to make his way through it, able to channel his way through it. I'm glad he didn't get knocked out all the way. I thought he was gonna get knocked out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought Chad was gonna get knocked out. So I'm happy he made it to the finish line. But I definitely thought Chad was gonna get knocked out last night. I didn't think he was gonna make it because, like I said, it just didn't look right with, he's in the ring with a guy who was a pro, even though he had one professional boxing match. I think the guy had 5 MMA fights and 2 bare knuckle fights. That's 7 more fights professionally that Chad had. You know what I mean? Also, while we still here with the Paul brothers, it's been announced now that Jake Paul is coming back with Tyron Woodley. And personally, I think he's gonna knock Tyron Woodley out. I think Tyron Woodley gonna be the next victim of the Jake Paul hype train, and the hype train will get even bigger and even louder, and the bandwagon to get a lot crazier, and then you get more. Now listen, some of the stuff that Jake Paul is doing and saying is valid. He's making them valid points, and I think and what y'all seeing, why y'all want to know the guy lost a lot of bare knuckle fights, his boxing match, and won MMA fight. Yeah, I agree. But that's still more than a football player who ain't fought nobody. You know what I mean? A football player who has never been in the ring ever. So, I mean, why they couldn't put him in the ring with like a basketball player? They could put Chad in. Put him on an even playing field. Let his debut or his first fight be against somebody that never fought a boxing match either. Don't put a football player in the ring with a guy who's been pro at other sports. Because even though, like I said, even though he's not that good at boxing, no diss, Brian, you know what I mean? Because me and Brian are cool on social media. We correspond with one another. No diss to you, bro. But the thing is, bro, he's a professional. He made it to the point that he was a pro at boxing. He was a pro at MMA. He was a pro at bare knuckles. Whether he got beat up by other MMA fighters or other bare knuckle fighters, it doesn't matter. That's more fights than Chad had. So I thought Chad was a little outmatched, and it showed because he dropped Chad. You know what I mean? And the good thing that happened in the last minute of the fight because, Chad would have been the next Nate Robinson. which I thought he was going to be. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to have another Nate Robinson. And I can't wait to see Chad on his show, I Am Athlete, explaining to the guys who told him not to do it exactly what happened in that fourth round. You know what I'm saying? Also, moving on. Adrian Broner. Oh yeah, hold on. While we here, what is y'all thoughts on Jake versus Tyron Woodley? I just want to know for the people in the comment section, who y'all picking? Tyron Woodley or Jake? Who y'all got winning that fight? I got Jake. Because Tyron Woodley was on a losing streak in MMA, and he's boxed somewhat. He had a good stand-up game, and he did, work with fighters. But again, if you haven't been doing this repetitively for the last few years, and you see one thing about Jake Paul, why you pick Woodley though? Tell me why you pick Woodley. I don't think so, man. Here's the reason why I would want Woodley to win, because I kind of feel bad for the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been trending downward ever since he lost to Uzma in the MMA fight. Ever since he lost that fight to Uzma, he ain't been the same. I don't know if that fight did something to him psychologically, or he got old overnight, but he just hasn't looked that good in his own sport. You know what I mean? He hasn't looked good in that. You know what I mean? He got stopped by Colby Covington in his last MMA fight. Then he lost to some tune-up fight that he was having. So, like I say, it's not like he's been impressive in his own sport. So to jump over here to boxing, because like I said, whether you like them boys or not, them Paul boys are big boys. They are big boys, and they hit hard. He can crack. He can crack. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Jake would not go in with Woodley unless his team saw Woodley decline. But see, this is more Woodley's idea. This is all Woodley's idea. Woodley asked for this. You know what I'm saying? To Jake's point, to Jake's defense, Woodley asked for this. This is all Tyron Woodley. He asked for this. They had a little fallout with him, and they had a little fallout between him and Jay Leon Love when they was getting ready for his last fight with the guy Murr, and it turned into this. So, Woodley asked for this all on his own. He asked for Jake. He said he's gonna beat Jake. He's gonna break Jake's jaw, and he's gonna do all this. I don't know. I don't think so. I just think Woodley's not big enough. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying these Paul boys can fight. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying they're good fighters. I'm just saying they're good enough to beat the people that you're putting them in the ring with. If you putting him in there with an MMA fighter, a small MMA fighter that's smaller than him, that got a okay stand-up game, he going to sleep. Jake Paul's going to knock him out. He hits too hard. He's going to knock him out. But, like I said, it's not like I want Tyron to win. I just don't think he has it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he has it, man. I think he has it. What's up, man? How you doing, man? My man, The Boxing Talk, man. Check out his show on YouTube, everybody. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you chiming in with me, man. On Saturday, I think you do yours on Saturdays at 2, correct? Or put it in the comment section so I can post it on the screen, though. I do believe you do yours Saturday at 2 or something of that nature. But, yeah, shout out to y'all, man. What'd you think of the fight last night? Thank you, champion. But talk to me, bros. What y'all think about the fights last night? What you think about Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul? I got Jake Paul by knockout. I got Jake Paul putting that man to sleep. I got Jake Paul doing. Like I said, listen. Here's the thing. I done my homework. So check that out, everybody. There it is. Basement Boxing Talk every Saturday at 2 o'clock on YouTube. Check it out, man. Great bunch of guys that be on there. And I'm going to chime on there every day, whenever I can. But, yeah. I think Jared looked bad, bro. Listen. He did. There's no getting around it, I didn't want that for him. I at least wanted him to make it back. I at least wanted him to make it back to at least the Charlo fight. If he lose the Charlo, whatever, we can live with that. I can live with Charlo. I can't live with Arias. No disrespect to him. Cool brother. He's a nice brother. It's over for him. I can't say that. I don't want to say that. You know what I mean? Because Jarrett Hurd, man, good brother. I can't say that. I think he just need to take a break, really, really assess himself, take time, be around some people that really love him and care about him, man. Would like to say, those of us from the area, when y'all see him, show him some love. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Show him some love, and then we'll see when he come back. Let him come back later on to get a tune-up fight, and then see from there before we even think about fighting anybody on a Charlo level or anybody on any kind of championship level. You know what I mean? Just come on back, get you a tune-up fight, which last night was supposed to be. That's what's scary about last night. Not this, the dump on him, but what's scary about last night. Last night was supposed to be a tune-up. That was supposed to be a tune-up fight. Nothing against Arias, but he needs to get a real trainer and a new gym. They ain't got the answers. But he got a new trainer and a new gym. That's the thing. Like we had the guys in the forum earlier today talking, and shout out to the boxing, the DC group, But we had the guys and inboxing me later too, Starks, man, because you got, like I said, you gotta meet these guys in the boxing, the DC group, man. It's the most lit boxing group I think on the internet, period, bro. I've been bouncing around from group to group to group to group for years, and this is the first one I can say, all right, we get a few people that go overboard, but at least it's decent. At least it's decent back and forth. So a lot of these other groups, man, you see people they fussing, they fighting, they cursing each other out, threatening each other to see each other in the street. It ain't that serious, man. It's a boxing debate. It's a boxing debate. But yeah, inbox me because you got to get in this group, man. Get in some of this work. Here's the thing. He changed trainers already. He relocated. He's still living in the DMV, but he trains in Houston. You know what I mean? He was down there with Bud Crawford. He just was sparring with Bud Crawford a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Sparring with Bud Crawford. They was down in the camp with Bo Mack. Shaquille Stevenson was down there. So he was around folks. You know what I mean? He was around folks. He was doing some good sparring. He got good work. I don't know. But I will say it again. It did seem like he wasn't there. You know what I mean? It just seemed like he was mentally somewhere else. You know what I mean? And it could be. Listen, y'all, listen. We all lose parents and family members and things like that, but we all react different. That's why I always say to people, I don't never say to nobody that lost somebody, hey, I know what you're going through, because I don't. Everybody reacts different. It impacts you differently. He may not realize how much the impact of it meant to him till the bell said ding. I don't know. All I know is it just looked like he wasn't there. Now, in terms of what he did in the fight, I saw the same Jarrett Hurd that I saw against J-Rock. They didn't have, just like you say, they didn't have no answers. They didn't have the answers. Nothing. I mean, you outworked. You let the little man outwork you. Like that dude was just working. He was working. And don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. Though Arias was there as a tune-up fight, he is tough as nails. He comes to bang. He comes to bang. That he will do. He come to bang. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that fight Arias, you got to know, yeah, he may be somebody you may be using for a stepping stone or whatever, and he might even fight his way back into contention. But when you get in the ring with him, he coming to rumble. He's coming to rumble. And that's what we found out last night. And he out-rumbled Hurd. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When Hurd was sitting in there, because I was like, all right, man, he about to get him. In the 8th round, I was like, yeah, Hurd about to get him. He about to walk him down. He about to get him out there. You know what I mean? We're going to work on this. We're going to work on this, people teeing off you stuff, but you're going to get the dub and we're going to move on. But then Cuz just got the blah, 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 blah. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, it's what it is. It's what it is, man. Other news. Eddie Hearn spoke out on pay-per-views in boxing, how that's hurting boxing and how that's not good for boxing and things like that. I think what Eddie Hearn is fearing is that, we know that Caleb Plant and Canelo is soon to be in the talks and in the works very, very soon. And I think he knows that Canelo is paying very close attention to the pay-per-view money that all of these other fighters are about to get. Because think about it this way. Canelo just fought in a 73,000 people in attendance at Cowboy Stadium and made 35 mil. Floyd Mayweather just fought a YouTuber and probably gonna make 100 mil. Pacquiao probably gonna get close to like 80 million when he fight Earl Spence. Tyson Fury and Wilder probably gonna get about 50 mil, if not more, a piece when they fight their fight in Las Vegas on pay-per-view. So when you look about it, you're the biggest attraction in boxing, but you just watch 4 or 5 people make more money than you. You might do that next fight with Caleb Plant on Showtime pay-per-view too. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I think that he's looking at. And Canelo was definitely watching it last night because he was tweeting about the fight last night. So he definitely was chiming in on, everything he saw Mayweather did. He chimed in on how he thought it was just a money grab and this and the third, and boxing is a risky sport. So he watched it last night. So he's paying attention. Don't be surprised if you see Caleb Plant versus Canelo announced on Showtime pay-per-view and not the Zone. Don't be shocked. And I also said, real quick, another nugget. Don't be surprised that after this next fight, don't be surprised if you see AJ in the ring. AJ signed on to one bit of reality. Floyd is an American fighter. It's still a big advantage. I need you to explain that more, though. Explain that more. It's what a big advantage in terms of pay-per-view buys. Because, here's the thing. I don't care about none of that. I'm not talking to you, James. All I care about is I want to see good fights. We want to be able to get people in the house. Come on, man, it's a fight. Come on. I miss fight parties. I don't do fight parties. I'm a little older now. But I do miss people, everybody getting together for the big fight. I miss going to the barbershop and everything. Look, I came up, it was a barbershop, right? In that barbershop, in the back room, we had a room from the floor to the ceiling. All around that room was nothing but VHS tapes of boxing fights. That's what we did. That's where we came from. You couldn't go in the barbershop and talk boxing. If you came in the barbershop and you talk boxing and you said something about boxing, what you saying? Throw that thing in the tape. Let's break down this tape. Show me what you talk about. That's what I come from. I don't come from this YouTube, social media, boxing world. I don't know nothing about that. It's funny to me. Like, we spend more time talking about things that's not boxing. I want to get to the point where we on here breaking down fights, styles, why you think one fight will beat another fighter. Let's get it in. That's what I want to do. But in the social media world, we got to talk about who's popping on YouTube. We got to talk about how much money they making. We got to talk about pay-per-view buys. I don't want to talk about none of that. I want to talk about styles making fights. Canelo did speak a word in ignorance at his last fight. American fans responded to what Floyd said, good and bad, willing to shell out bucks. Here's the thing. Canelo followed Oscar to the Zone. The big deal that he had on the Zone was brokered by Oscar. But then Oscar and them, they, when the pandemic hit, they wasn't going to be able to honor his contract. So they was asking him to take a pay cut. And he wasn't willing to do it. So he was like, okay, but if you want me to take a pay cut, then I'm going to fight this particular fighter and that particular fighter. You're not going to put me in the ring with fights that could make a lot of money and then ask me to take a pay cut. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he was talking about. So they had a big fallout there. You know what I'm saying? He also said, here's the funny thing. He said the only reason he didn't sign over there with Floyd and them, because he's being loyal to Oscar. That's what Canelo said. So, it all, and like I said, the Zone wants to do away with pay-per-view while telling you to pay for a subscription, even though it's much cheaper. It's still a subscription. So whether the fights are happening or not, you still paying for that subscription. So that's what that is. You know what I mean? But again, I'm pretty sure, you just pay attention, stay close, James. When you look up, you see Canelo fighting Caleb Plant on Showtime pay-per-view, you'll know. If it happened on the Zone, that means he's staying loyal to Eddie, and we'll go from there. But you know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening, man. So, all right, y'all, man. It's been fun. It's been real. Unless y'all got something hot and heavy that y'all want to drop. Oh, I did miss something. Okay. While out there in Miami last night or the night before, they caught up with Adrian the Problem Broner. And I got a shout out to Ali Setback because he asked all the right questions. He did ask Adrian Broner, was he willing, did he want to fight Gary Antoine Russell or Regis Prograis? And he clearly said he want to fight Regis Prograis. We want that fight for Gary Antoine Russell, but it looks like AB has his sights on Regis Prograis. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. Maybe something can happen. So we can cohorse that. But yeah, there it is, man. But until the next time, man, love y'all. It's been real, been fun, man. Have a blessed day, man. I got a few, might have a few, other tweets later on this week. But until then, man, y'all have a wonderful, blessed day. Signing out, Team Lonely Child Boxing. One.